Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel and welcome back into another episode of the Carlos Granados podcast. In this episode, we have a guest coming back on the show to discuss his life and his journey. But in the meantime, before we get started, I want to thank you guys for always supporting my channel, for liking, commenting, subscribing. Don't forget that you can watch this video in 4K on YouTube, and also you can listen to this podcast in all the audio platforms that you can think of. I want to thank you guys for the major love that you have shown me. I continue to bring you new topics of discussion, new guests. Also, hopefully you guys are enjoying soon what I'm going to bring to you and different professionals as well. So, but without further ado, Aizaz, welcome to my channel again, brother.
Hey, man. How you doing?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I think last time I was here was a couple of years ago, I think. We were talking about my aviation journey and stuff.
And you know that did really well on the YouTube channel.
I saw that.
Do you
believe it or
that?
not, I volunteer for a lot of different organizations, and one of the parents of the organization was like, "Hey, my kid actually came up to me, was like, hey, I think we saw Aizaz like on Instagram. Like,
Yeah.
was that him? And was that you?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was shocked. I was like, "Man, social media, right?"
The power of social media, man. When I was looking at the clips and how well they were doing, I was like several thousand views, and I was like, dang, people are really interested in these topics. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And this is why I love bringing different people and their professions and talking about different topics of discussions, because I feel like people get to learn a little bit of everything. And I got to learn a lot from that episode from you, man. But today, we're not here to discuss your career and what you got into. We're here to discuss your beginnings and your beginnings of life, bro.
Yep.
And I know you wanted to share that on my channel, so I'm going to give you the platform and take it over.
All right, man. Well, first of all, I want to address the outfit that I'm wearing, because
Which
I know
looks dope.
You were a little intrigued when I came up here.
Yeah.
So basically, so I'm Muslim. On Fridays, we have our essentially church days,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's kind of like when on Sunday, Christians will go to church to wear they'd be wearing a suit. This would be that equivalent.
Right.
So I just like to wear it, and plus it's pretty comfortable too. So
It looks cool. This is I think I told you this when you got here. This is one of the first times I've seen like one this close.
Oh yeah, in person. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's called it's a cultural outfit, not necessarily a religious outfit. Because the religious outfit would be a little different. It's called for men, it's called a thobe, but it's more of a cultural one. But it's still acceptable because it's
Oh, so it's a culture thing.
Yeah, this outfit. But there are similar
Wow.
ones that are religious. It's just I grew up in the culture which is tied to the Islam as well.
You explained to me how that works on Sundays. On Fridays for you guys. You say you do it 5 times a day, right? And
So basically, on Fridays
get
we
into
have
that,
a
'cause
noon prayer, and that's when the sermon is. So
that's
we do
cool.
the sermon, and then we do a prayer, and then people go back to work and continue
Do their
on
thing.
with their day. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
So it's kind of like a nice
Gotcha.
lunch break for the brain.
That's cool, man. Well,
But
go ahead, bro.
so kind of like how I got here. I know we've known each other for a long time, but I don't ever
High school days, bro.
Yeah. So
High school days.
never really shared where I necessarily came from. So I'll just start with my parents, right?
Yep.
So my parents, it was arranged marriage, right? They've been, knock on wood, they've been married almost 40 years now.
40?
40 years.
Wow.
And I joke it's because my mom goes to Pakistan every few years, and distance makes the heart grow fonder.
wait. So your both of your parents are from Pakistan?
Yes.
Gotcha.
So my dad was because my dad was in the U.S. Air Force, so he was actually raised here most of his life, or about second half of his life. And then my mom grew up in Pakistan, and they had an arranged marriage. The parents kind of lined it up, and they met each other, and they were kind of on board. And so that was interesting when I found out about that.
Listen, I found when you told me that, I thought it was interesting. How does I got a little bit of the gist of how arranged marriages work, but is there something that families give to each other, or who approaches who? Are you aware of how that works?
So I don't know how it happened in their case. I do know that the parents met and they were like, "All right, we have, I have a son, I have a daughter. Let's see if they like each other. Let's plan the marriage. My son
Right.
is former Air Force, or is in the Air Force, and it was funny. My mom sometimes jokes that, man, like I had so many marriage proposals, and I picked your dad. But it's kind of cute. 'Cause
Yeah,
they
that's funny.
They still have that little cute fights, cute little things.
Yeah.
And after this many years of marriage, I'm like, it's kind of still cute to see that.
Wow, man. And the fact that they're married for 40 years,
Yeah.
You know, that concept is definitely foreign to me because, you know, in our culture, we don't practice that.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, they still work their way around sometimes when there's
Yeah.
families and family. You get what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. So, wow, that's interesting, man. But go ahead, continue.
So they met, and I'll fast forward a little bit, or actually, I should skip this part. So you know how the joke, you know, the brown people time. So in Pakistan, it's literally like
Yeah, I know that one.
everybody's kind of lax, and it's just a nice, easygoing country at the time,
Mhm.
right? And my dad, I think his flight was delayed or something, and this is a military man, right?
Mhm.
So he's trying to get there. He's rushing. He's like 2 hours late to his own wedding. He gets there,
Dang.
and they still are setting up.
Oh, so here's vibing. He already knew the time. He knew he was going to be ready.
But he was just like, well, because he didn't know that though,
Right.
because he grew up in he grew up military, and
Yeah.
in the military, as you know, that time is like very, very
Mhm.
concrete.
Yep.
So that was kind of funny when he told me that. It was just kind of funny. I laughed about it.
That's good.
But they met, and then like we'll fast forward to after they got married. My dad came back and did the proper paperwork for my mom to come to the country.
Mhm.
And what was interesting was, I say interesting. It was kind of sad at the same time, but my family used to have textile factories. So when my dad came back here, while they were waiting on the immigration paperwork to come through, or
Mhm.
like I guess it would be the marriage visa, since
Okay.
they got married overseas, he was giving a tour of of one of the factories to some people, and somebody that was driving the forklift turned like the sound off,
Oh, that's not good.
and so he couldn't hear the forklift coming. The forklift driver didn't see him and hit him in the back of, I think it was like part of the vertebrae.
Oh, no.
So my dad was quadriplegic for almost 4 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it knocked him unconscious.
Yeah. I mean, he was conscious in those 4 months when he was in the hospital and stuff. But
Right.
he couldn't move any of his limbs.
Dang. So oh, man.
Yeah, it was.
And he recovered from that
Yeah.
after 4 months?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I actually what I can add is, and I don't know too many details, but I do know is my dad actually used to have polio as a child.
Oh,
That's
wow.
how he ended up in the U.S. Air Force instead of the Pakistani Air Force.
Wait, so why does polio make a difference? Can you
Medical record. So even though he was cured, right, the medical
Mm.
record still showed. But the beautiful thing when he came to the U.S. was he was already a pilot. Like he'd already been a pilot before he joined the Air Force.
Gotcha.
So the Air Force was like, hey, we need you. We don't care.
Right.
You're fine now. You're a pilot. And we're going to take you.
You're good.
So he went straight officer.
Well, what time was this? 80s, 90s?
I want to say, yeah, I don't remember the exact time.
Gotcha, okay.
But around that time, yeah.
Right.
So it wasn't during wartime.
Okay.
But so yeah, he had polio as a child, and then fast forward, he ends up quadriplegic.
Wow, man.
And I remember my mom telling me that this was before text message, even before Yahoo Messenger, right?
Mhm.
She's writing him letters, not getting a response, and wondering, is like, oh my god, like what, we just got married, and now I'm not getting a response to his letters. He's not
Mhm.
talking to me. What is going on? And I asked my dad, I was like, why didn't you have any of like, because he had he had a friend of his that was taking care of him in the hospital,
Mhm.
and to this day they still know each other, which is amazing.
Wow.
And he was like, well, I didn't want my friends to be reading my wife's word. Like if she's writing me something, I don't know what's in there. Well, I'm not gonna what's the word? Invade that privacy.
Right.
Right. I don't want to do that to the woman I just married.
Mhm.
So he didn't have anybody read them. Now he read them afterwards when he was okay again.
Oh.
But she's in Pakistan worried, right? Imagine you being in your early 20s as a woman. You just got married to someone,
and somebody's not responding back.
who was raised in the U.S. Just think about all the things people are saying about, oh, the man did this, and you made a wrong decision. You shouldn't have done this. Like she's having to fight those thoughts.
Wow.
And her dad, like my grandfather, he passed away a few years ago, but her dad actually told her, is like, listen, I know him. I know his character. If he's not responding, there must be something. Don't lose faith. Don't lose hope.
That's a good woman. That's good.
Like, and to have a father-in-law like that, I'm sure my dad lucked out.
Yeah.
So, she's worried and everything. And then eventually, he's okay. And afterwards, and they talk. And then she feels, obviously, she understands, like, oh, you're quadriplegic. You couldn't do anything.
Right.
So eventually, all the immigration stuff works out. And my mom is on her way to Atlanta. So before, they didn't really have direct flights from Pakistan to the U.S. or to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a layover typically in New York. So my dad flew from Atlanta to New York to meet her during the layover. And then they would both catch a flight coming back down to Atlanta.
Wow.
So like she would come from Pakistan. She had a layover in New York.
New
My
York.
dad flew to New York so they could meet because this is her first time flying on an airline. This is the first time she's coming to the U.S. Like
Right.
going out of her country, so forth and so on. They ended up getting lost. Well, my mom ended up getting lost in the airport.
In the airport.
Yeah, because she's never been in.
Yeah.
She ended up getting lost. And there was another gentleman, and I can't remember his name, but there was another gentleman that helped her, like, basically navigate and kind of be like, okay, so like, let's find your husband. I'm sure he's around here somewhere. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. This is before cell phones. This is before you could just pick up a phone and be like, oh, I'm at terminal so and so.
Yeah. Did your mom speak any English at that time?
She did, because she studied like in the schools in Pakistan.
Okay,
like, they taught English.
That's good
so
though.
She did, yeah,
that's such a plus. So she at least was able to ask questions.
Yeah, she was still able to ask questions. But again, imagine 20-year-old girl. Like I think she was in her early 20s.
Right.
20-year-old girl, right? Got married, out of the country, and my mom like doesn't mess around, so she could handle herself. But still, I mean, it's nerve-wracking. Come on.
Right.
So anyway, they eventually link up, but they missed their connecting flight.
Oh dang.
The connecting flight ended up crashing.
No. What?
Yep.
You say psych right now. Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Wait, what happened to the flight?
I don't know the exact details, but I do know because my parents didn't remember the exact details of what happened to the flight. They just know the flight ended up crashing.
Oh no. Wow.
Because my dad actually had to tell my mom, hey, it's okay. We just missed a flight. We'll catch another one. Because she was feeling guilty. She's like, oh my God, because of me, we missed the flight. Now what are we going to do?
She was
All
lost.
these things.
Yeah.
And my dad actually helped like calm her down. He's like, no, listen, like everything's fine. Things happen. It's fine. We'll just catch the next one. This was before they knew it crashed, obviously.
Dude, what a feeling that must be after. What did your dad think from your recollection?
I mean, he's always been deep rooted in his faith. So he's always, everything happens for a reason. And so obviously he didn't know the flight was going to crash.
Right.
He just knew everything happens for a reason. And his focus was keeping my mom calm.
Right.
Because, I'm sure you know this just like anybody else. If one person's panicking and another person starts freaking out, it's not going to help the situation. So.
Right. I wonder if the feeling afterwards, flying back, if that was, scary.
I didn't even think to ask him that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because now you just got on one and now it's going the same route again.
Right.
That's
I'm gonna have to ask them that.
Yeah, you should.
Maybe they went on a different airline. Who knows?
And next time, and next time you come back, you just let me know how that turned out. Have a conversation with Pops.
Yeah, I never thought to ask him that. I'm gonna have to ask him that.
Yeah, man. Because when things happen, and you feel like they could happen again, you kind of change up the plans and you kind of get, deviated from that.
And now that you mentioned that, I definitely know a couple people that would definitely not have gotten on the plane. They were
right.
like, we're driving. We're not flying.
Right. Whatever is on the ground, train, bus, but we're not flying.
That's crazy. And I think maybe one of the things also that helped is, like I said, my dad was a pilot.
I was going to mention that right now. I was like, well, your dad was a pilot, so he probably understood.
He probably understood that, things happen and, it's just, death is a part of life. Sad. I say that casually, but, I don't mean that.
It's true, though.
It's true, though.
Yeah, it's very true. You, as being a pilot yourself, do you, how would you feel about that? You would feel the same as your dad? You feel like that would be just
I'm the type of person where it's really hard to look from an outside perspective on certain things, especially something like that where you have to go through it. It's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I might have an idea of what it's like to have a kid, but until I have my own kid, I don't feel right saying, oh, that's what it's like to have a kid.
Right. That's fair enough.
Fair it's point. Like that. Yep. And it's similar to, we talk about military branches too. I know what it feels like to be in the Air Force. Yeah, sure, we make fun of each other, like the different branches.
That's right.
I still respect what all the other members do. Yeah. Because I'm not in their shoes and I hear about their stories. I'm like, thank God I'm in the Air Force.
I feel you on that. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So anyway, so they got that. And like, I'm going to jump forward a little bit more to, so after that, I think the next thing was, so my parents had me 7 years after they got married.
Okay.
Now that wasn't intentional. So like if you look at all my cousins and everything on pretty much my dad's side, they're all married. They have their own kids. Some of them have their own, like the kids have kids. Some of them.
Oh, wow.
Right? And so growing up, right, I was always the youngest of the cousins. And, me and my siblings, we were the youngest of the cousins. And again, until I got older, I didn't really know why. Yeah, but we would talk and found out that my parents were actually trying to conceive for years.
Oh, man.
And my mom went through a couple of miscarriages.
Oh, dang.
And, even then rumors, people talk and they're like, oh, he's impotent, or, he's all used up because he grew up in America. And it's just the stories that they told me. I
Oh,
was like, how did you guys survive that?
dude, I didn't think about how people will look at that,
And
because you grew up in America. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, well, because, it's overseas. It's like, oh, America is the land of opportunity, which it is,
Yeah.
but it's so removed from certain cultures that the stigma, and now it's changed, obviously. Now it's a lot better because you have social media and whatnot. But then there was just this ideology that, oh, you go to
Right.
America, if you're not rooted in your culture or your faith, then you're going to go off the wrong path.
Yeah. And plus, you kind of only knew whatever news fed you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Now it's a lot different, right?
Right.
So there were all these rumors getting started. My dad, people accused him of being homosexual. Like, it was just insane.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was bad.
Okay, those are crazy comms.
But they still made it through that. And eventually we were at a or not we, they were at a family gathering.
You were in there somewhere. And their jeans, bro.
They were at a family gathering, and one of the doctors in the family, big shocker, there's doctors in the brown community.
That's impressive though. We don't see those often in our end, to be honest. So,
but there was a doctor, and he was like, you know what, you're talking about your symptoms. Come see me in the office. I'm just gonna run some basic tests. And so I ran some basic tests, and turns out she had an undiagnosed thyroid condition.
Wow.
Which was causing the reproductive issues that they didn't know.
And that's the reason she was miscarried.
That's why she wasn't able to conceive. That's why and it was
wow. Crazy how thyroid can cause that, right?
Exactly.
Wow.
And to be honest, when my mom first told me that, I didn't know if I believed it, because they're like, yeah, they're just going to put me on pills and stuff, and it was fine. It's a medication. And I was like, really? I didn't know if I necessarily believed it, but then as I got older, because this was when I was in late middle school, early high school, 9th, 10th grade, we're talking about this. Things are just coming up. And then I was like, oh, wow, just a small little thing. That one medicine allowed her to have kids again.
That's crazy. So she is fixing her thyroidism.
It was the thyroidism, yeah. Because she had hyperthyroidism.
Thank God for medicine.
Right? When used appropriately.
Yeah,
when used appropriately. Right? Because they're still drugs, in my opinion. But,
yeah.
Anyway. So, and here's the crazy part. They were actually on their way to choose a boy to adopt when they found out she was pregnant with me. They had gone through all the paperwork. They had gone through everything.
Oh, dude.
And they were on their way to meet with, because I think when you're adopting, they, match you with kids and see if it clicks or not. So they were on their way to that initial meeting with the kids.
Right.
And then they found out they were pregnant. And I don't remember exactly the conversation they had on whether it was, okay, do we still want to move forward with this, or do we want to just not adopt? Because, again, at the time, they hadn't met with any of the kids.
Right.
So it's not like kids were like, oh, getting happy that, oh, we're meeting with these specific people.
Right.
So they found out they were pregnant. And I joke with them. I was like, I'm the oldest. So I was like, I'm so happy you didn't adopt, because then I would not be the oldest.
Yeah, you wouldn't have been the oldest. And you have another sibling, which is your brother. Do you have any more?
I have a younger sister.
Okay.
And then I have a younger brother.
Gotcha.
So we'll get into my
there's
brother.
4 of them.
3.
4. Oh, you have a younger sister, then a younger brother. So
yes.
The younger brother is the youngest.
Youngest, yeah. He's the spoiled one.
Yeah.
Hey, anybody that's out there that's the oldest or the middle will side with me on that.
But to be honest, we are the guinea pigs of parents.
Oh, we are.
You know? Yeah.
My brother will get away with stuff, and I'm like, you didn't let us get away with it.
I wonder why that is. Why they soften up afterwards. Like, they're so hard on you as an older child, and for younger brothers, they let a lot slip. But I'm like, is it because they are not verbally admitting, but they are admitting that maybe it was too harsh, growing up for the first one, that the second or third one get a little bit less repercussions for their actions, you know what I mean? Or being less strict. I wonder what that is.
So
maybe until we become friends, we'll know.
Yeah, we can unpack that a little bit. So here's my theory.
All right, let's hear it.
I'm not a parent, so I can't actually say it, but I have a lot of interaction with children. I've done a lot of youth mentoring. I'm a substitute teacher over the county and everything. So my theory on that is, when parents first become parents, they don't have experience being parents before.
Right.
Right. So they're learning just as much as we're learning. And as they raise us, they're realizing, all right, we made some mistakes here. Maybe we don't need to make those mistakes again. Because there's
Right.
like a 7-year age gap between me and my brother.
Okay.
So because of that age gap, right? It's, oh well, maybe we were too harsh, or like we didn't. We're learning too, right? I was talking to some.
That's a good point.
I was talking to a couple kids actually a few months ago, I think, or maybe last year, and they were talking about, my parents said this, my parents said that. I was like, listen, this is also your parents' first time being a parent. They've never raised anybody else before.
Yeah.
You are literally a product of their love,
Right.
right? And you got to give them some grace. Just be patient. It sucks. Because especially as kids, you're like, oh, well, the parents are supposed to be the patient ones. We're the ones that are supposed to be giving the grace. It's not the other way around.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing that nowadays, especially with all the social media that's out there. Kids are growing up a lot faster than they used to. And so that's where we need to give the parents a little bit of grace. Because again, nobody's perfect, but you still respect them.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point because it is their first time. As a kid, it is hard to understand that, but I think as you're growing older, you can try to sympathize with that a little more. Yeah.
Like I was substituting at a high school maybe 3 weeks ago or something. And I was talking to the kids. It was like an elective class. And they were like, oh, so how do you get involved in substituting, or how did you do it? I was like, you got to have at least a sophomore in college, at least with this particular county, right? You got to be a sophomore in college and so forth and so on. And, I enjoy mentoring children and kids and just what is it? Parting wisdom, right? Because I want people to learn from my mistakes, and I learn from others, right?
Right.
And she looks at me literally, and I'm gonna like imitate her as best as I can. She's like, you enjoy this? And I was
That's
just
funny.
like, her reaction was so funny. I was like, yes, I do. Because that takes me to another point. And I know we're digressing a little bit. I'll come back to the initial, but I was substituting for a kindergarten class, right? And I was reading, it was book story time. So I picked a random book, and I'm reading it to the class, and you got a bunch of 5-year-olds sitting. And I'm reading a children's book about this. It was a rabbit, I think it was a bunny or a rabbit. Are those the same thing?
I can picture what you're saying, though.
Yeah, basically, you got the ears on the top. So anyway, excuse me. I studied business, not anthropology, or
Wait, is there a difference?
I don't know. I don't.
A bunny rabbit. I think. I thought that it was the same.
I don't know.
Hey, Bugs Bunny.
Is he a rabbit though?
He's a bunny.
Bunny rabbit. Okay.
Go ahead.
We'll have to fact check that.
No, you're good. Comment section. Please let us know.
Yes, please let us know if there's a difference between bunny and rabbit.
Go ahead.
But I'm reading this story about this, this rabbit who's like in elementary school basically, and she just constantly worries. And she's like, oh well, I have a birthday party coming up. I don't know if a lot of people are gonna come, because there's another party and on the same day. And her parents are like, it's okay, just be calm, be chill. And then the birthday comes, and then a lot of people start showing up, and she's happy for like a brief second, and then she's worried, oh, there's not going to be enough cake. And so it was just this constant worry, and I was like, oh my God, I'm learning from that. You can't constantly go through life worrying. You got to be able to look at the positives.
I've been a victim of that, of worrying. Of fearful thoughts and anxious thoughts and stuff like that. Some from trauma, and some when the enemy attacks you in certain ways, he knows your weaknesses and keeps going. So to be honest, I probably would have been relatable to me as well.
Yeah. And I'm like, internal, obviously I didn't tell the kids that, but inside I'm like, am I really learning from a children's book right now? I'm 30. So it was kind of eye-opening, and that's what I enjoy. Like when you interact with kids, and that's what I think some people, I don't want to say all, but there are some people out there that forget that you can still learn from kids.
That's facts, no printer.
Because they have a different worldview. They still see the world through a certain set of lenses. And as you get older, our lenses kind of get foggy and cloudy.
Right.
So we start forming our opinions. We get our biases. Sometimes we prejudge without even realizing we're prejudging. Right. And kids don't have that. So if we pay attention and just sometimes listen to kids, I'm not saying kids know it all. Sometimes they do say crazy things. I had one first grader, and he knew what he was doing, what he was asking was wrong, but I was a few pounds heavier. He raises his hand in the front of the whole class and says, Mr. Shaikh, why are you fat? I'm like, oh my God.
Sounds like a kid.
And he said it with a smile on his face. So he knew he wasn't supposed to say that.
Yeah.
It wasn't like innocently asking.
Yeah. Yeah. The little devil.
And I was gonna just brush it off. Like I had moved on.
Yeah.
But there was a teacher or I think an administrator that was passing by who was a little on the heavy side. She heard it.
Oh.
And just he went to the assistant principal, and I don't know if he got ISS or something because he had a problem with it before. Like he caused trouble before.
In school suspension, by the way, for everybody.
ISS, yeah,
anybody who's never.
So something like that.
Yeah.
So that was kind of when he said that, but
that's wild. What was it? 3 people that tell the truth: kids, angry people, and drunks. So,
oh yeah, angry people, kids, and drunk. Yeah, that's true. So, where was I? Okay, going back to my birth, right?
Yep.
So I get born, and I was actually born here in Georgia. So I'm a Georgia native, which is rare nowadays. I'm noticing. Like, so there's a lot of transplants now.
Yeah.
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 So
when that became a big deal, especially about 10, 15 years ago, people moving here, is wild. Like, do you, sorry to cut you off, but I don't know if you remember driving, when you were like 16, 17 or 18 or something, and 85, you could smooth that down 85 pretty well. When I was going to Georgia State University, I was going down 85 pretty straight, it took me 45 minutes, and it's a long commute, but all things considered, you got there in 45 minutes. Like, you kind of knew. Now,
oh, jeez, right?
Jeez.
Even with Peach Pass.
Dude, it's bad. Atlanta traffic has become, the only one crazier that I feel like I've been part of, it's LA traffic. But I also heard Houston traffic, I heard was...
I've been to Houston. Houston traffic's
I heard it's bad, yeah. It's
Houston
probably just major cities, all major cities. But before, Atlanta used to be decent. Like, you traveled a certain time, you knew what time it was going to be freed up, what time was going to be busy, but nothing crazy. Like, you knew it. You had an idea. Now, I have no idea, dude.
That's actually funny. That's funny you say that because yesterday, I think, I was scrolling on Facebook, right? And I see this reel, somebody on Georgia Followers. Somebody, I guess I just gave them a shout out.
Shout out.
Somebody posted on there, is like, man, and I thought, like, what happened to there being rush hour times? It was like, I think 1 or 2 o'clock. And it was, I think, in downtown Atlanta. They're literally videotaping 85 and it's slammed. Like,
it's slammed, bro, all the time. But it's true all the time from 6 a.m. till probably 7, 8 p.m. is still packed.
Yeah.
Before it was not the case. I had the math. Well, go ahead, man. Sorry.
Well, I was actually one more story about the traffic.
Go ahead.
We all know, during COVID, quarantine, and everything that was happening, I was, I still don't know why real estate was considered essential work, but I guess because of the housing crisis, people were still buying houses, so we were considered essential.
Oh.
So I was able to, between that and then logistics company I was with, we were considered essential because I was with a trucking company as well. And so I was still out and about and stuff, and still, taking precautions. But one of my buddies was traveling to somewhere on the West Coast. He was traveling somewhere on the West Coast. So I took him to the airport, and then after that, I was supposed to meet my buddy in Buford, so right by the Mall of Georgia, right? I made it from Atlanta Airport to Buford Mall of Georgia on a Friday afternoon, like 2 or 3 o'clock, in 45 minutes.
Wow. That's a W.
And I think I was like averaging 65, 70 miles an hour. No HOV lane.
Yeah. When was this? How long ago was this?
During COVID. During the quarantine.
Oh, wow.
Nobody was on the streets, dude. Nobody.
Those were the days.
And I was like, that is probably one of the only things I miss about COVID is the lack of traffic.
I remember seeing pictures.
Accomplish things.
I remember seeing pictures of the first 2 weeks, when there was like a mandatory stay-in. I remember during COVID, there's pictures of like the highway like being clean. It's like a movie out of like an apocalypse or something. It's just you've never seen that, which is crazy. It's wild that we're gonna tell our kids we lived through a pandemic.
Yeah, that's true.
Pretty interesting.
See what the history books see. Like I sometimes I wonder what the history, like the social studies books, look like now compared to when we were in like elementary and middle school.
That's right. They're probably updated now. They updated them like what, every 5 years or something.
I don't know that.
Yeah, I don't remember how long they do it, but I know that by the time I got to college, when there was I think social books. I don't know what kind of sociology books that already had the Jersey Shore in there. And this is
Really?
Jersey Shore came
Wow.
out in 2009. By 2012, they were already in like a sociology books. So it happens pretty fast,
That's
depending on who
crazy.
you ask. So,
That's
yeah,
crazy. So anyway, okay, getting
yeah.
back,
Go
getting
ahead,
back.
go ahead. Reel back
So
in.
I was finally, they had me, and so my name is Oz.
Hmm.
Actually means honor.
Yo, that's so cool. Did you say that on the last podcast? But
I
I don't
think I
think
may have. I don't know. I can't remember.
that's dope though. That's cool.
So I asked my mom. I was like, okay, why? And she said, well, after all these years, I finally got a kid. I finally have a son. I'm a mother now. So it was an honor to become a parent.
That's beautiful.
So that's why she named me Azaz. Now that comes in handy in interviews all the time. So I applaud my mom for doing that.
Yeah, that's fire though. Shoot, I would be pointing it out
Right?
too. Yeah.
And so that's actually a funny story. So, but me and my siblings, we have different middle names. So my siblings' middle names is my dad's first name, but
Hmm.
my middle name is Shabazz.
What
And
does that
so
mean? Does it mean something?
I think I haven't looked up the definition in a minute, but if I'm not mistaken, I'm told it means king of hawks.
Oh, that's dope.
So so originally my grandparents wanted to name me Shabazz. So there was like little tiff, and my mom was like, "No, I have picked out a name. We're not naming him that. We're naming him Azaz." And I think, at least according to my mom, she said that before anybody else came, like before my dad saw the birth certificate or something, she went ahead and like told the nurse this is his first name, so wrote it down on the birth certificate before they could change it.
Mm-hmm.
And so the compromise was, okay, we'll change his middle name to Shabazz. That way, it made my grandparents happy and it made my mom
Yeah,
happy.
yeah. You're good. Both in
Exactly.
good standings.
But the sad part about that is my last name is Shaikh, so my initials are ASS.
Oh,
So it's funny, but at the same time, some people are like, no way. I'm like, there's my ID. You believe me now?
That's wild. Your parents didn't think that one through. But he's
I
good.
mean, who did?
Yeah.
Nobody thinks about that.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't even realize it until I think high school, because kids can be savage.
Oh, damn. So somebody else trying to bully you can't cut that, bro.
And one of our friends, right? He even said, he's like, listen, dude, like, I think the reason you didn't get bullied as like more was because of your size. Like, you were tall, you were a big guy.
Yeah.
And I think back, I was like, yeah, no, I did have, I was just like every high schooler, right? You got confidence. So I was a little unconfident and stuff.
Yeah.
And when I eventually enlisted in the military, that changed that. But I didn't have a lot of confidence in high school, like most people. And, but it did help me kind of grow out of my shell.
It's crazy how that works. That high school stuff, man, it's real, man. Like, you experience different personalities and you as a person go through your own stuff. But then when you look back at them, you're like, what was I overthinking?
That's exactly how I felt.
It's part of life. Well, what was I
Yeah.
overthinking? Because it's just because, some people's insecurities start from those days because of what they saw, what they experienced with other people. And I've always told myself when I was back in the day, I was like, I'll try not to care as much as that. I'll try to become something or someone in life so I can just fall, whatever. But yeah, high school, man, it's an interesting time when it comes to that period.
And the crazy thing is, like, until we got older and we would start talking about it, in my mind,
Yeah.
in my head, I was like, oh my God, like, everybody else, they got their own thing. I'm the only one going through this. I'm that awkward kid. Nobody else is experiencing what I'm experiencing.
Everybody is going through something. Yeah, everybody's. Eric, remember Eric? He was just here. Fitz.
Fitz, yeah.
Fitz was here on my podcast. Probably several months ago, and we talked about that. Like we talked a little bit about that because we known each other since high school as well.
Yep.
So we talked about those days and how it kind of affected him as well. And you eventually grow into your own, and that's the beautiful part about life, man. Back in those days, though, is just
dude. Sometimes I wish
kids
I'm like,
all over the place.
Kids nowadays, like I see them, and it's a treat to have a conversation with them because they're so buried in their phones.
That's another topic of discussion.
That's another topic of discussion we need to get into. So yeah, anyway, but they're just so buried in their phones. So that's again topic for another day.
Yeah.
But anyway, where were we?
You honored your parents.
Yes, honor. So that's what they named me, and then 13 months later, I think they wanted 2 kids, and then my sister was born. Right, and the funny thing was growing up, like me and my sister, like just fought like cats and dogs. I mean, we're good now, but growing up, and like even I would talk to her about this too. I was like, why, why were we like that? She was like, oh, I just saw it as, siblings being siblings. I was like, really? I thought you actually hated me. She was like, no.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
So it was interesting. And then
tough love.
Yeah. Well, no, she's definitely tough. My dad actually told me. Now, you know how parents kind of embellish. I don't think my dad's embellishing this, but he told me, he was like, one time where I was at school and some guy like bullied my sister or something. And she basically stood up to him and she's like, you better not do that again. My brother's going to knock you out.
That's real.
And I'm like, she said that because I was very timid.
Yeah.
Like, I never really, like, I'm not the guy, I wasn't the guy that I am now.
Right.
I was a kid. I was very timid, kind of shy. It didn't really open up that fast unless I got comfortable, right? But again, 5, 6, it's common for, someone in that age range.
Right.
So that was kind of interesting. And then I'm trying to think of the timeline. I'm trying to keep it on the timeline, but we can jump around a little bit if we need to.
You're good.
So, my sister's born and, we went to a church school. So eventually, I think in 2nd grade, my sister basically told her teacher that, oh, if God doesn't give me a little brother, because she wanted a little brother. She was like, I have an older brother. I want a little brother. I'm going to stop believing in him.
That's wild.
And my teacher didn't think anything of it. So they didn't tell my parents or none of that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay, it's just a kid. It's a 2nd grader. They're just saying stuff, right?
Yeah.
When the teacher found out, so after my sister was born, the doctors told my mom she couldn't conceive. So they were like, okay, yeah, we have our 2 kids.
Wait, why not? Do you know?
I can't exactly remember.
Okay.
Only because I don't think it had to do with a thyroid.
Yeah.
But it was just something. I can't remember exactly. And the teacher didn't think anything of it. A few months later, I think my brother was born in 2002. So yeah, so I guess late 2001. Found out my mom was pregnant again. And she told her, she's like, yeah, we're telling the teachers, yeah, we're expecting again and everything. And that's when the teacher told
your parents,
my parents, what my sister had said.
Wow.
So it was like, yeah, you never know when God's listening.
God's miracle childs, bro. You guys are, wow.
Yeah. But actually, yeah, I skipped something. So before that, we're going to fast forward. I'm kind of like giving the highlights and I'm going to be a little bit more organized. I appreciate the patience, guys. There's a lot to unpack here.
It's life, man.
It's life, exactly.
Yeah.
So we're driving with my grandparents, right? Just somewhere on 285. And I was with my mom, my sister. So my mom, my sister, my grandmother, and I were in one car. My dad and his dad were in another car. So we're going to the same place. I can't remember exactly where we were going. But somewhere, I guess, before we got on the highway, me being, I think I was like 2 or 3 at the time, I was like, oh, I want all the boys to be in one car and, the girls can be in their car. So we ended up switching. So I ended up going with my dad and my grandfather, and then my sister, my mom, and my grandmother stayed in the same car, right? And we started going on 285. Tractor trailers, like the big 18-wheelers?
Uh-huh.
She got stuck between 2 that were racing.
Racing?
That's how she recalls it and how she remembers it, right? So literally, it's like, this is her, and these are the truck drivers.
No, that's crazy.
And she literally started, like, she was trying to maintain control of the vehicle, but at one point, it was like, she just described, this is how she described
bouncing
it.
back.
She was bouncing back, and she couldn't control it, so she just let go of the wheel. At that point, she was like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Like, Jesus, take the wheel type stuff.
Literally. So the interesting part about that was, when we got there eventually, they were like, thank God that I left, because if I didn't, who knows if I would have survived. Everybody survived. But my sister was in the car seat, and at the time, my mom had like these stacks of like just Qurans in the back seat. And according to the accident report, now I'll have to like look it up, but this is the recollection of my grandmother, my mom, and so multiple sources.
Right.
Just verifying that, validating that, right? The glass from the accident was on top of the Qurans, and the Qurans were protecting my sister from the glass.
Yo. Wait, so first of all, when that was happening, nothing like the car didn't flip or anything, right? It was just bouncing back, and it was just.
I don't know the detail. It may have like flipped a little bit, but I think mainly it was just bouncing back.
Oh, dude, because that's still a lot though.
Yeah,
that's wild.
She describes it as like a football, like soccer ball.
Yeah, I
That's how
feel
she
like
described it.
you only see those type of accidents like in movies. You know what I mean? Where it goes crazy.
Yeah.
Like
Like I said,
no.
a lot of these stories, like when I was growing up and I would hear them, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. No way. That's no way. And then I get older and I start seeing other things
Uh-huh.
that line up. And I'm like, okay. And then other people would be like, oh, yeah. And they would just randomly talk about it. They're like, yeah, I remember that. And I'm like, okay. Even if like, there's no way everybody else is in on this. Like, my parents are smart, but they're not trying to get everybody
Mm-hmm.
to think, make me convince anything, like, maybe convince me of anything, right?
Right.
It's over at the end of the day. It's an accident.
Yeah.
But then I started seeing it and I started realizing, and I was like, okay, wow, no, we've been through a lot.
Man.
So,
Even the conception part for like your mom and your dad and going through those stories, man, it's just I feel you that.
well, it's interesting. And my dad would tell me that some people were like, somebody told my mom that, oh, just eat bananas. That'll help you conceive. She ate bananas like crazy. She's like, don't. There was something. It's like, don't eat this. She basically swore off it. Like she wouldn't even get near it.
Think she
Because
really wanted to
that's
be a
how much
mom.
she wanted.
She really wanted to be a mom.
Well, also, she's here, right? Because her family, her sisters and brothers were still overseas, right? So
Mm-hmm.
she's here. Everybody else in her age group having kids. My dad was one of the last of his siblings to have kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so that pressure, right? That community, think about it nowadays, right?
Yeah.
It exists even now. It's like, you got these, both men and women. I mean, I'm still single. Men and women that are, surrounded by societal pressures. Oh, you're not married yet, or why don't you have a kid?
That's another topic you went into. That's a good one. That's a good one though. Yeah, because I'm single as well,
Yeah.
and I don't have any kids, and I know a lot of male and female around our age that are just like, I don't know about that one, Chief. I'm not sure. Do we want it? I think most of us do, but it's just I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what's in the water that just you know what I mean? Maybe we've seen enough. Maybe we're actually trying to be more stable at some point. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a mix of a lot of different things. That's for sure.
I'll make one statement on it before we get back to the other topic. My view is that just the way society has evolved,
Mm-hmm.
for better or for worse, we're more skeptical of each other, and our
Mm.
level of tolerance for just society as a whole has gone significantly down.
That's fair.
And it's just, we're humans. Everybody's going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And, it's like the gym, right? Your motivation's going to be down, but it comes down to kind of commitment, right?
Yeah, but think about this too, though. And what about and not to be negative here, but it is a fact. What about over half of the marriages that don't end well? So now we also see that. It's not like we don't see it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
We also, and I'm not saying we're going into it with a negative mindset, but it does happen. I met the most religious people getting into marriages. 2 or 3 years later, bye, divorce. And I'm like, it can happen to a lot of people, it can happen to anybody. So
that's another topic that we definitely need to unpack. I feel like we're like doing like a foundational, or like, okay, this is the outline. These are the topics we're going to be discussing in the future.
We'll remember them. We'll come back.
Yeah, we'll come back to them. So, talking about the accident, right? And then after that, my brother was born and whatnot. And something else a little bit about me. When I was in, I want to say first grade or second grade or something. You know how like at the fast food toys you could get?
Like
kids'
McDonald's?
Toys? Yeah, McDonald's and stuff. So I think Star Wars had just come out. Like there was one Star Wars movie or something, like one of the older ones. And I had this little piggy bank. It was like a Star Wars coin bank.
Okay.
And I had collected like, I think $5, which, I mean, back then it must have felt like so much, right? $5 in coins. And
it's heavy.
And I'm going to share something a little bit vulnerable about me. Because again, bear in mind, I'm like 5 years old, 6 years old. I'm a little boy. I didn't really have many friends. So I was buying people sodas from the vending machine. It was like 25, 50 cents. And just being, oh, what soda do you want? What soda do you want? And the other kids were like, oh, yeah, we want this. They're not saying no. It's soda.
Yeah.
Right? So my teacher actually told my parents that. They're like, why? And they're like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I was just trying to be nice. Like, I honestly can't remember exactly why I did it, but I was doing that.
And this was your $5 that you were spending, that you were saving?
Yeah.
Up? That's
And I
nice
don't
of
even
you.
know if I saved what I was saving it up for or
Yeah.
something. But like I still can picture myself like I'm on my knees with the coins out and putting it in the vending machine and giving sodas during recess to the
You were
classmates.
buying friends. You know what I mean? Just buying friends.
But so that was like when I talk to my parents about that and like how I grew up, they're like, that's why sometimes they like worry. They said no. At some point, we were worried. Like, okay, is he ready for the war? Like, is he gonna get
Mm-hmm.
clobbered? Because he's
Yeah.
so soft and he's so nice, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the world is brutal to nice people.
Yeah. The
And
world is hard though.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so that was an interesting conversation with them. What else? What else? What else? Okay, yeah. So we end up they had my brother,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been saying this for the last few weeks, but I'm gonna publicize it now, and my brother's gonna probably never let me forget it. In a way, he completes the family. It's weird.
Oh, that's deep.
Yeah. Like I
It's
can't
real.
it's hard to imagine him not being there, even with the large age gap.
Mm-hmm.
And
How old is he?
he's 23,
And you're 30.
30.
So 7 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. You told him.
So it's interesting though, because
Mm-hmm.
like growing up, him and my sister were like this, right? They
Yeah.
were like the best of friends. And I always felt like the oddball out. But as we've gotten older and matured, we've gotten closer and closer.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to see that. And sometimes I joke, it's like, oh no, I'm just glad he's there because if when my parents ask me to do something, I can just call him up. Hey, can you do this? Because then I don't have to do it. But like I said, I don't know how else to describe it. It's
Yeah.
weird. I've been saying it for the past few weeks, but I figured let me just get it out there. Now it's out there. So
Now he loves you even more. He's like, he knows what's up.
well, and that's the relationship my siblings, like me and my brother, and like just our siblings. Actually, me and my sister, it's a little different, but like we'll admit to each other.
Mm-hmm.
My brother and I, for example, we will never to each other's faces will like be like, "I love you," or we care. But behind closed doors, we stand up for each other, we back each other up.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we complain about each other. It's normal, but
Yeah.
like sometimes what I'll do, and oh, my brother's gonna kill me. Sometimes if he's like sleeping and before I leave, like I'll just give him a kiss on the forehead.
Oh, that's cute.
And he like there was one time where I was going in and he was still awake and he just kind of pushed me. I was like, all right, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. I think he was sick and had just taken an exam because he's in college, so he was just kind of stressed out. I was like, that's fine, that's fine.
Yeah. You know what though? I feel you on that because men in general, we don't like to be very vulnerable towards each other. Even though I think we should definitely practice more often, but the love that you have for your sibling and your brother. Yeah.
And that's actually like getting back to the bullying thing. That's actually one of the reasons I did, because I was always that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until, honestly, I want to say until in the military that I realized I can still be quote unquote tough,
Mm-hmm.
but still maintain my soft heart and be vulnerable when I need to be.
That's good. You understanding that. When I was going, I know we're deviating and stuff,
That's
but
fine, yeah.
yeah, when we were going back to high school, a lot of people I used to always smile all the time and just be happy just because I don't know if this is me coping with stuff, but like I used to just be happy. You know what I mean? Yeah, in high school, like I used to smile all the time, and obviously you played a tough sport, so sometimes it was weird for people to see, like, because my smile, I guess, makes you more gentle and soft and happiness, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but then you go out there and, try to turn a light on and switch. And I'm like, people thought sometimes maybe I was just, I don't know. It was weird.
The best saying that I always remember, and this is something my dad also told me, is like, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Those are bars. That's a bar right there.
Yeah. So
that's a good one. I'm going to use that one.
Yeah, no, go for it. It's actually like he read it somewhere and I can't remember exactly where, but he told me that and I was like, oh my God, yeah, that's true. Because it's always like, it's kind of also another way to say it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yeah, that's good.
You want to be able to defend yourself. You want to be able to stand up for people too. Like protect others, especially if you are in certain leadership roles, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't have that ability, then it's like, how are you going to protect somebody?
Right. Yeah.
So that was something that kind of he told me, and he would always remind me of. And again, we're in high school, so it's never really clicked until much later on.
Yeah.
And so that was going back to the
go ahead.
buying them the sodas thing. So buying them the sodas, and I was kind of soft, and Some
Kind
people
of soft.
argue that I'm still soft, but I was like, come on.
I think you're nice.
Well, and the people that have worked with me in business,
Yeah.
people that have worked with me in the military,
Yeah.
people that have worked with me in managing projects and leading stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I launched a nonprofit just a few weeks ago, or last year rather, and they understand.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a switch. He can turn it on and off.
Yeah.
And the challenge that I have is until people actually get to know me,
Yeah.
they don't really understand it, which is fine. I get it because
Mhm.
everybody has a perception, and until you get to know somebody, that's when you truly form their opinion.
That's
Form
right.
your opinion of them, or at least that's how I believe it should be.
Mhm.
Right? You might not always get to know everybody to a full extent, but you should know something about them before you start forming an opinion.
Right.
Right? Don't automatically paint people with a brush.
Mhm.
So, getting back to that. Let's just fast forward to the next thing I remember right now is we're in elementary school. So this was right around, I want to say, it was when the economy started going down. I think it was like right after 2002, 2003. My dad's business started getting affected,
Mhm.
right? And the choice became, hey, do we pay the tuition to fulfill their education, like further education, or do we keep the house?
And at that time, you weren't going to public schools.
I wasn't,
Yeah.
right? And that was one of the reasons. Nothing against public schools. It
Mhm.
was the church school aspect.
Yeah.
It was the aspect. So it wasn't necessarily, oh, we don't want to send them to public school. It was, we want to send them to a church school. So
Mhm.
that was more of the motivation than the other side, right?
Right.
And as you know, because we graduated from a public school, so it was
Mhm.
never really that. It was more so just the church aspect. But they made a decision, and my dad and my mom sat down, and they're like, all right, we're gonna send them to school. And at that point, the house was put on the side. Like, I think they sold it or something. Yeah. And we were living out of my dad's office for about 4 or 5 months.
Wow.
And the crazy part is, I think, like, when I think back, like, you could literally sit here and tell me that, oh, well, you had a bad experience. And I was like, did I? I don't remember it like that. And I don't know how my parents did it, but like, these are my memories of that, right? I remember, my sister and I would be like pushing my brother around in the stroller
Mhm.
because he was still young. And in the parking lot, when nobody's like there, we're pushing him
Right.
around in the parking lot. I'm remembering there was this Chinese restaurant right next door that we would go and eat every night after my dad came back from work. And my mom would tell me, she was like, no, I bathed you out of the sink because there was no shower. There was a toilet and a sink in the bathroom, right? I was like, really? She was like, yeah. I was like,
Wow.
I don't remember that.
Man.
Like, I don't even, and it's weird how our minds work, right? I'm sure like my mind probably like shielded those memories just because of, hey, your mind probably couldn't handle it at the
Mhm.
time. And like, that's just how we form, right? That's more of a psychological question. But it made me realize all the times that I wonder that my dad came back and maybe he only had enough money to feed us. And how many nights my parents went without eating.
Right. I was just about to say that.
Because I didn't even think of that.
A parent sacrifice, man.
And how many times, like, the owner, because I think we knew the owner of the restaurant eventually because we went there so much and they probably knew about the story. And I think there were sometimes they just gave us food for free.
Wow.
Like, I don't know for a fact, but I think that was the case.
Wouldn't be surprised though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just having that kind of blessing was insane. Like, and I talked to my sister, though. She remembers some of the bad stuff. When I say bad stuff, like the hard times.
Yeah, the difficult times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The difficult times. I don't remember it as difficult times. I remember it as, oh, it was fun. It was like an adventure.
I call that a blessing for you.
It is, yeah. I just laugh about it because people tell me, oh yeah, that's a story, and I'm just casually saying it. Like, no, dude, that's a big deal. Like, that's not normal. But growing up, you don't have a frame of reference.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
you just go along, and like, heck, for the longest time, I didn't know school buses didn't have AC. I mean, they do now, but
Do they?
yeah, I think they do now. At least some of the buses I've been in.
Oh, okay. I thought they always did have some type of.
They had heating.
Oh, heating. That's what I'm
they
thinking
didn't have
of.
AC. That's why during the summers we'd have to put the windows down. We'd be
down.
sweating and everything.
Yo, I didn't even think about it. It's been so long. That's how you know I'm
know,
old,
dude.
man. I didn't even think about that, bro. See, I remember the heating because I remember the bus used to be some somewhat warm at some point in life. But I never thought about the AC part. I never really thought about the AC part.
Yeah, some of the newer ones, like nowadays, I think they have them because they put in like the units in the back. But
Damn,
yeah,
we didn't get lucky with those. It was so hot sometimes that heat. You used to like sit down and it'll burn your shit.
oh yeah, especially if you're wearing shorts or something that day.
Yeah, bro.
Oh yeah,
It'll
it
burn
would be
you,
bad because
son.
like the seats and everything. And I think
Yeah.
I've heard that some of the school buses now have seat belts,
Oh wow.
which for safety I'm all for it. But I'm like, where does the book bag go?
Dang, bro. What an experience too, man. Having to wake up extra early back in the day just to get on the bus on time. Oh, I know how to think about it, bro.
Yeah.
Wow. PTSD.
Right.
Go ahead though.
But so yeah, so we were homeless and
Yeah.
going back to people talk. So that was actually one point in my mom's life where she realized kind of her true friends were, because a lot of the people, and again, I think at this time she's probably like our age. Like at that time we were probably in her 30s, I think, roughly. I can't remember the exact age, but a lot of her female friends were telling her, hey, you're the woman, you could just leave him, take the kids, go back, or find another man.
That's wild.
And her response was, he's not out partying, he's suffering with us, why would I leave him?
That's a real one. That's a real one though.
Why would I leave him? To the point where even my dad was like, all right, listen, just go to Pakistan, take the kids, let me figure this stuff out, after that you can come back. She's like, no, why would I leave you? You're not out partying. You're not out, having fun while we're here, in difficult times. You're with us. You're working to get us out of this.
Right.
I'm not leaving you.
Dang, bro.
And it's just like I hear those things and sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. One of the reasons where like we're talking about the marriage thing, I don't know if like there are women like are made like that anymore. Like, and don't get me wrong, like nobody's perfect. My mom's not perfect. My dad's not perfect. They've annoyed each other. They've, had their qualms with each other. But that level of commitment, that level of, hey, you're suffering with me. We're not like, I don't know if I can find that this time, right? That's the example that I had in front of my parents.
Dang, bro.
And so my level of expectation is like sky high. And sometimes like, all right, maybe I need to, lower my expectations.
Maybe that's what you're saying.
But it's just, it's hard, man. Like we talk about settling, not settling, things like that. So it's just.
You want definitely someone that rise with you. Yeah, like, rise with you.
I always joke.
Everywhere.
Not joke. I always say like, I'm not looking for a wife. I'm looking for a partner.
Yeah.
Right. And the saying about, there's always a strong woman behind a strong man. I spin it in my version, which is there's always a strong woman besides a strong man.
That's a good one.
That's how I changed it.
Right.
Not behind, right next to. Stand side by side. And I still see marriages like that. Don't get me wrong. I still know there's some marriages out there that are like that.
Yeah.
It's not like but it's rare. And so I'm just waiting, for God to show me the way on that path.
I get you, man. I'm on the same boat as you, bro. So you're good, man. Thank you for sharing that. Nah, I appreciate that. I appreciate your vulnerability, bro. That's real, and I'm sure people can see that because it is true. It's a real concern that we have nowadays, and a lot of things are superficial. So it's hard to try to find a person who's gonna ride like that with you, and sometimes you don't know until it happens, right? It needs to happen for you to find out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, I read somewhere it was like you don't want someone you can be. Yes, you want someone you can be happy with, but you want someone who will be there with you in the hospital. You want someone who will be with you through the tough times, because for most, it's easy to be there when the times are good.
Yeah.
It's when times get tough that friendships, relationships, marriages, heck, even sibling relationships truly get tested.
You'll see who's with you, bro. You always see who's with you. Right? I can agree with that.
That's when you know who your true friends are.
Yeah.
And one thing I've learned, it's not always blood. It's not always blood. It can be,
Yeah.
but it's not always going to be blood.
Yeah.
And so you never want to get tunnel vision on, oh, I'm only
It's
looking
family.
for these.
Right.
Family is not defined by blood.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. I'll have
Yeah,
to come
I
up
agree
with,
with
we'll have to think about something because, like, family's not defined by blood, but then what is family defined by? We'll have to come up with something witty. Yeah.
I'm thinking about it. But
Yeah, I'm thinking
nothing
about
that's
it.
on my
Totally
head right now.
interesting.
Yeah.
But so that happened, and then
So how did you, so your family and your dad ended up getting out of that eventually? I'm
Yeah, so
assuming,
it was about 4 months. We were in the office, living out of the office, and then eventually we found an apartment. And again, keep in mind that this whole time they did not let our education get interrupted.
Wow.
I don't even think we missed school days of school. I think of it now. I'm sure they maybe I don't know if even they told the school that. I'm sure they did. I don't know if they did or not though.
Mm-hmm.
But education was never interrupted. We would be doing homework. We would still. I don't know how my mom washed our uniforms. Probably in the sink, or maybe went to the laundromat. I'm not sure. But still going to school. Eventually, you find an apartment, and then we move in there, right? That happens, and then it was like, all right, there's some sense of normalcy again. So we're doing good. We're going to school, and I still remember it was one of Atlanta's snowstorms, not ice storms, but snowstorms, and we had I think 2 or 3 inches of snow, and so school was canceled that day.
That's funny. Other people were laughing in other states, 2-3 inches.
Yeah.
But we freak out over here,
Exactly.
bro.
So school was canceled that day, and it was actually snow, like not ice, but snow. So we're in the apartment, and we were on the first floor of the apartment, so not the second. But we come outside, and I see the snow, I can still picture it, and sometimes I think back, I'm like, wait, is that just is that truly what I pictured, or is that just how I remember it? But anyway, I come out, and for some reason, I remember it being warm. Not hot, but warm, and but not cold either. And it was almost like the way I can picture it is like the blanket of snow that was there somehow warmed the air. It doesn't make any
soothing
sense.
Almost.
It was soothing. Yeah, it was weird.
Okay, wait. So you were about 8 years old at this time, right?
I think so. Forgive me if the timelines are kind
well,
of off.
the reason
yeah.
I'm asking is because that snowstorm that you're referring to, I remember if that's the case.
Then that's probably
Yeah,
because
I was 10 and I'm 2 years older than you.
So then it was probably around that.
Yeah, and I remember when that happened. That first snow, it was my first time seeing snow.
Yep.
So it's probably the same timeline. That's what I'm wondering. I'm I think we're
probably then. Yeah.
I'm thinking of my life while you're thinking of yours.
Yeah.
At what timeline? How old was I? And I think it was around that same time that the snowstorm happened in Georgia. Snowstorm, by the way.
Snowstorm, yeah.
Right, for us, but yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So it was around probably that time. And because thinking back, I think we were still in the apartment at that time. Because it wasn't until I was 12 or 13 that we eventually moved into a house.
And is it this house that I went to last time, or you moved?
No, there was a different house. We've actually moved around quite a bit just within the same county.
Gotcha.
And I forgot to add, my church school was actually in Atlanta. So we would commute, the school that I went to, we would actually commute from Snellville all the way to Atlanta.
That's wild.
And
your parents really were about the education.
Well, here's also the thing. We went, and I actually left this out. We went from having a driver take us to school. We went from going on the weekend shopping and watching a movie at the theaters every weekend. From buying, getting toys whenever we wanted toys, my mom would get us, having birthday parties. And it was funny. I hated having to share a birthday because I was born in June, my sister's July. So I would always tell my parents, I was like, when people budget for gifts, if their budget is $20, they're not going to do $20 per gift. It's $20, so it's two $10 gifts. I don't want to share a birthday with my sister. And I'm going to probably get some hate for this, but I was notorious. I would blow out my candles first, and I would always blow out her candles.
That's wild.
To a point where she would even cry. And then my mom would have to yell at me. She's like, stop, don't do that. They would relight her candles, and then she would blow it out. So you can understand why she wanted a younger brother.
Yeah, yeah, I see that now. She was traumatized.
So yeah, you could see why she wanted a younger brother. But so yeah, I was focusing too much on the negative stuff, but there was a lot of positive too, right? That's where we came from, right? My parents always, before I even said something, my parents had it for me.
Mm-hmm.
right? I remember my sister and I, whenever, like if my mom was sleeping or something, we would like get a key to sneak into the freezer to get ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing was, I always got blamed for it, even though it was my sister's
The
idea.
oldest.
So like the joke was she was the instigator.
Mm.
So she would like plant the seed in my brain, and then I would do it, and then I would get in trouble, even though she got what she wanted. So and that's why we were joking the other day. I was like, it's kind of ironic that we launched a nonprofit together.
Also, is you and your sister doing
Yeah,
it?
there's actually 5 of us.
Okay.
So there's a few of us on there.
I'm gonna leave the link in the description below of the YouTube video. By the way, you can.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, that'd be great. It's Angels of Honor. So the story behind the name, real quick, is
Angels of
honor.
Aizaz.
So I'll tell you why, right? Throughout my life, and you can tell from like the beginning of my life so far, my family and I have always had angels. Whether it be the owner of the Chinese restaurant, whether it be, whether it be the
car
leasing
accident,
agent, or the car accident. We've always had angels, and I would always wait. I was like, you know what? I can't wait to get married so I can give that to my wife, and when I have kids. But then I started thinking, I was like, I'm doing injustice. Why am I including just someone I'm getting married with? So then we came up with the name, and we came up with the mission and everything, which will be in the link. But I want my angels that I've been so fortunate with, and give those to others. Like allow others to get the benefit that I've gotten.
giving back,
right?
That's
what is it? Forging a way forward, or moving the path forward. There's some saying that I'm drawing a blank on. Anyway, just giving back is the simplest way.
right.
So that's why it's Angels of Honor. Like I don't want people to think, oh, I'm naming it after me. But there's a purpose behind it.
Right. That's good.
That's the name of the organization. But anyway, we're in the apartment. Before the apartment, right? Where we have a good life, right? We're having birthday parties. We had those little, I'm sure they still have them, but like, the motorized cars.
Mm-hmm.
So my sister had like a little pink
those.
Jeep.
Yeah.
I had a police motorcycle.
Right.
And I still remember for second grade for career day, I dressed up as a CIA agent because I was like, oh, I want to be like
Men in black.
Yeah.
Men in brown.
Exactly. I wanted to be that. And I think I still have the suit. It doesn't fit me anymore, but I think I still have it. It's like a brown suit that my mom got, or like we got specifically. I want to say it was specifically for that day, but I still remember we went to the store, and they had like the fake handcuffs and the fake stuff, but the product said FBI agent, and I was complaining. I was like, "No, Mom, I want to be CIA, not FBI." And she eventually convinced me. She was like, "Listen, it's fine." She's like, "Listen, beta." Like beta in Urdu is listen, son. It's fine. Just stop.
You're good.
So you're good. It's okay. And so I was like begrudgingly wanting to do it, right? But I eventually did it, and I went to that. So like I said, life was pretty good. Like we were rolling, and we had 2 phone lines because one was dial up and one was for the actual phone.
Right.
Which I talked to some people now, and they're like, yeah, no, that was a luxury back then.
It was
having 2 phone lines.
Yeah.
Like we had a fax machine. I did what every other kid does, and I prank called 911 like an idiot.
They came to your house?
Mm-hmm. My dad actually said they came to the house and took me in a room to make sure that I wasn't like getting abused or anything, because they were like, oh no, nobody called. And I still remember, like, I looked, like they saw the doorbell rang. I looked out the window and saw it was the cops, and I ran to my room. I'm like, oh God, I'm in trouble. And then my parents talked to the cops, and obviously everything was fine after that. But I think they kind of lectured me, like, listen, again, I was like 6 at the time or something. Listen, you shouldn't do that. That's not fun.
Yeah.
And when I actually did it, my dad was on the other line on a work call, and I'm picking up the phone to dial 911.
That's wild. That's crazy.
So, yeah. I still remember, like, the setup. It was, like, in the basement. It was, I'm very fortunate to have, for better or for worse, I got a very vivid memory. So that happens.
So it was like a roller coaster for you.
It was a roller coaster. Like,
you were in the highs, and then you went in the lows in the apartments.
And that's what I really credit my parents and God, really, how they managed to raise the 3 of us with those constant highs and lows, but our education never got interrupted.
Mm-hmm.
We always had what we needed.
Right.
We always had food. We always had a roof over our head.
Mm-hmm.
We were very fortunate to never actually be on the streets. So that's why, like, I hesitate when I say homeless because then people think streets. I'm like, no, we still, we were in an office. They're like, no, that still counts as homeless, dude.
Right.
So people have to tell me, it's like, no, that's still homeless. I'm like, yeah, but there's people that are suffering that
A little bit worse.
a little bit worse.
Right.
And so I look back and I joke with my parents, like, when I do have kids, y'all did a pretty decent job with us. You can raise some more kids. They're like, no, we're gonna spoil them. It's our turn to spoil kids, so we're not gonna raise them. But we talk about that, and so let's just get back to the apartment, right? We're in the apartment. I think we were in the apartment for quite a few years, but I think we still have pictures because we have pictures of us in the apartment pool, and I don't know whose idea it was. I want to say it was my mom's because she was tired of like doing our hair or like cutting our hair. But me, my brother, and my sister, or not my sister, sorry. Me, my brother, and my dad all went bald one summer. So there's like a picture of us, and I'll have to see if I can find it and send it to you. There's a picture of us all bald in like the pool.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was kind of cool, like all three of us did that. I wonder if I could convince all three of us to go bald. My dad's already balding, but
he's good now.
I could convince my brother.
He doesn't need anything else.
Convince my brother to go bald again.
Yeah.
You know how they recreate those childhood photos?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I was like, maybe we could convince. My brother's not going to do it. He's like he's into his hair just like kind of I am.
Oh.
So I'm a little into my hair, but I've gotten
suave,
just a little.
A little suave. Okay,
So,
see you.
But so yeah, that happened. Eventually, we made it. We did get into a house, and again, things started being good again. You know, my sister was in color guard. That's when I went to Brookwood.
Shout out.
Yeah, things are going good. My brother started doing band. We were able to have like birthday parties again. We were interacting with the community again, and then I think when was this? I want to say it was right around 2014 or 2013. So it started on as a high, right? I graduated. My sister graduated the following year, and there's probably some things in there that I'm missing. But
Yeah.
we'll have to come back and discuss that. But graduated, and then my sister fell in love, got married, and I think a few months in, her husband got diagnosed with cancer.
Oh no.
So we're like, all right, it was almost. I think back, and at the time, I was pretty stressed, but I was also in college. I had already enlisted in the military at the time, so I was kind of like in my own little world, right? I had heard about all the stuff, but I wasn't living through it. It was really my parents and my brother living through it, and my sister. But they were like, all right, we're battle hardened. We got this, right? So he's diagnosed with cancer. So go through all that, and with his family and our family, we're working through it and everything. He ended up in remission, which was good. My sister still managed to finish college during this time, believe it or not. She went to Georgia State, studied hospitality management. And it was funny, sometimes we forget our own achievements. And so when we were talking about the nonprofit, right, I'm like, okay, I'm putting together bios. Can you send me a list of your accomplishments? She was like, oh, I don't think I have any. I'm like, seriously? And I was like, okay, first of all, weren't you in color guard at Brookwood? She was like, yes. It's like, okay, weren't you a treasurer of your sorority in college? He was like, yes. And I was like, weren't you also in school when your husband was having cancer treatments?
Yeah.
She was like, yes. She was like, those are achievements? I'm like, yes. Like, those are like adversities, right?
Yeah.
You still managed to keep trucking forward, keep moving forward despite the adversities. But the cool thing about that is she didn't let it get to her head.
Right.
Right? Because a lot of times
she continued.
She didn't see that as accomplishments.
Right.
She was like, okay, this is just life, and I'm trekking along.
Right.
So I almost admired her for a little bit because I went through the similar thing. It wasn't until, our friend Jared, it wasn't until some of my friends were like, dude, you won homecoming king after being an awkward kid in high school of your you won homecoming king of your college after being an awkward kid in high school. I was like, that's a big deal. He's like, yeah, dude, there's so many other kids that I knew that never were able to move past that.
That's facts, though.
And
that's facts.
Again, I'm learning. If you don't have a frame of reference, you don't know what's normal. You don't know. So again, I'm jumping around, and I apologize for that.
You're good. But yeah,
where were we?
So you were in 2013, 14.
Yeah. So
and your sister's boyfriend got cancer.
Husband.
Husband got cancer.
Sorry. Husband got cancer, and he went in remission, so that was good.
Is he good? Well. Is he or?
He went into remission, and then they started. I think and My sister knows more. I'm actually not even going to touch on that because my sister has more details on it. But anyway, went into remission. Thought he was good because they had he had to go through surgery and everything. He came back.
Yeah.
Cancer came back, and this time they couldn't do anything because they had already removed, I think, a part of his pancreas, part of his stomach, a part of his like they had removed a lot of organs.
It was pancreatic cancer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that one was, I read that somewhere. That's like the worst.
And here's what I will say. This is kind of like a shout out or a tip for everybody. When he went through his checkup, his primary care physician told him, "Hey, there's something finicky about your results. How about you go see a specialist?" But he was like, "Nah, I'm good." And my sister was like, "Okay, we're good. I'm feeling fine." He ended up having like some severe pain in his stomach, and then ended up finally going to the hospital months later. But by then, it had already
Spread.
I think it was like stage 3 at the time.
Dang.
And so he was feeling bad. And here's the neat thing, though. Like I said, going back to my parents being married as long as they have been, they were telling him, "Hey, you got to learn to forgive yourself."
Especially in that moment, man.
Because imagine, it's like the doctor told me to go and I didn't listen. What if I had all the what ifs that happened in that moment? I mean, that's your life.
Yeah.
All the what ifs. And you have to just gotta learn to forgive yourself. Nobody's perfect. We can't control everything. If we could, we'd already be in heaven.
and not suffering this life.
So he ended up passing away. I'm also in college at the time, and I was, getting involved on campus and doing all those things. My brother, he was helping take care of my mom and take care of my dad, so I could be in college and, trying to help with my sister and all those things. So, he passed away. Actually, he didn't pass. He passed away. So it came back like a few years later. I'm making it sound like he got it. It was in remission. Came back. He passed away. So there was other stuff that happened in between. So basically, he got diagnosed. I'm in college. I'm doing everything. My brother's, doing his stuff. He goes into remission. So things are kind of normal again. I graduate college, and this is more like life happens. My grandfather, my dad's dad, he passed away. But he passed away at an older age. So, that's more normal. Yes, it's still sad, but it's like he was not a young person. Which is always like, I want to digress a little. Why is it that when older people pass away, we're still sad compared to when younger people pass away?
I think so, because we understand time. We understand life. If you're old enough, you understand that if you make it to past a certain age, I feel like you've lived life, right? Because life is supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be baby, young, adult, fatherhood, grandparent, maybe great grandparent, and then it's time to go. It feels like that is the optimal way of life. You get me? So when you look at it that way, you're like, at least they lived a long time, because we also understand the other side where some people are not that lucky, unfortunately, for other reasons. So I think it's almost like comforting. Like, plus when you're old and if you are suffering from a lot of health issues and you see them struggle, it's they get to rest, truly get to rest from whatever they're going through. Yeah. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's valid. Because that just kind of came to mind, and I was like, let's just talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
But my grandfather passed away in Pakistan, and the part that affected me on that was it was right around the time I was graduating college. Right, I'm the oldest. Right, I'm the first one to graduate college. Like, of my siblings, my parents are I'm not first generation, but I was the first to graduate college in my siblings. Right, because I'm the oldest. And my mom sits me down as like, listen, I gotta go because my mom's the oldest of her siblings. I gotta go. I'm gonna miss your graduation. Is that okay?
Wow.
And I know if I had told her no, she would have stayed. Like, if I told her I wanted her to be there, she would have stayed. I know that. She would have made it work. This just goes back to the commitment my parents have when it comes to kids. But again, I'm like in my I think I was 20, 21 or something. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. I know I can. She'll be back.
Yeah.
But I think back, and there's still a part of me that feels some sort of way about it, and I've forgiven her. Like, it's funny that you like, and I'm gonna get crap for this. Oh, how dare you feel bad that your mom missed your graduation for going to her father's
Mm-hmm.
funeral? It's like, yeah, but you got to think about it. You're 21. You're the oldest. You're the first one to graduate college, and your mother is not there. That literally helped you go through. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I look back when I was in the apartment. There were literally book reports that my mom would like stay up with me because I was a kid and I waited till the last minute. She would make sure I was awake to finish those book reports
Mm-hmm.
on a typewriter because we couldn't afford the Microsoft Office subscription.
Dang.
Or we didn't have printer paper. Or sorry, we didn't have ink for the printer.
Yeah.
So we had the paper, we put it in a typewriter, and we're typing the book reports.
Have you ever put yourself in that situation? What if you have kids and you were there? What would you do?
You're actually the first person to ask me that. And I honestly, the fact that my mom asked me, I admire her
Mm-hmm.
because she didn't have to. She could have just been like, this is the way it was.
Yeah.
But she recognized me as the, adult that I am. I
Mm-hmm.
was at the time, or still am rather,
Yeah.
that I am. And at least gave me the option.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know what I would do.
the reason I'm asking is because do you see like the same type of love that you have for your mom and your dad?
Same love for her.
It-
Thank you, man.
it's-
I did not see that. I just had an epiphany. Thank you for that.
Just asking,
Yeah.
just so
No, thank you for that. Damn, now I feel kind of bad because I never really held a grudge, but like I would kind of just be a little passive aggressive about it every now and then.
Yeah, and it's to be honest, it's not. I don't think it's selfish. I think it's natural human emotions because you experienced your mom and the amount of caring that they had for your studies and the time that it comes to complete that journey. She can't be there, so inside you feel something like you feel you should be there. You need to be there. Like you've been here, and your grandpa, maybe you looked at it that way too, through those lenses of he's old, he's older, he made it through life. I'm still alive, I'm still. So I don't think you should get anything for that. It's just human emotions. The only thing we can do as humans is just show grace. And the question that I just asked you is so you can see, or maybe look at it from a different lens of grace. Like, well, the same love, the same thing that she probably went through that,
I actually genuinely appreciate that. Yeah, because
I
like
got you,
people
man.
had like there have been a couple of people. It's like, all right, just forgive them, right? But now that I
Yeah.
think back, it's like it's not really a forgiveness thing. It's more of a, hey, like yeah, life happens, and put yourself in her shoes.
Yeah, it's just being graceful,
Yeah.
bro. It's grace will take you a long way with people and even with yourself. Even, when you're not too harsh on yourself.
Yep.
So some grace, Yeah. But
yeah, so that I don't know how much time do we have.
well, right now the podcast is about an hour and 10, so
Okay.
actually an hour. Holy smokes, it's been an hour 20. So
Oh, wow,
10,
okay.
15 minutes. Let's
Okay,
do
we'll
it at
start.
one and
I'll
a
start
half.
kind of wrapping it up,
Yep.
and then this particular
You're
topic,
good.
right? Or this particular section of the topic
Of your
right,
life.
yeah, of my life. So anyway, right, I graduate, and my dad was there, of course. My mom, my brother was
Mhm.
there, and the joke actually is, so I think right before I graduated, my mom got a truck. It was a Chevy 2500, and obviously, she can. It was a Chevy 2500. I think
I
you've
don't
seen
even
me
know what
drive it.
they are, what kind they are. I was thinking in my head what kind they are, but go ahead.
Yeah, so it's obviously she didn't take that to Pakistan, so she left it. So I started driving it. So the joke is, oh, that was my way of, okay, you weren't there for my graduation, so I just took your truck. So that's the joke, obviously.
Yeah.
That was like, if she wanted it, give it back to her.
Right.
But my reasoning is, so my mom's like, she's taller than the average, like I think she's like 5'4", 5'5", like she's relatively tall for a woman. But I was like, she can't even see over the steering wheel, like over the hood.
Mhm.
And they're like, Aizaz, just shush. They didn't say shush, but just shush.
Yeah.
But that just, that plays more into like the love that my parents have for each other and the love that they have for their kids.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to the marriage things, and sometimes I'm wondering, I'm like, wait, am I in a position to give that much love to my kids? Like if I were to have kids,
That's a good question.
can I be selfless enough to put my goals and dreams on hold to take care of this life that we just made together?
Right. Yeah.
And it's hard to think about that, man, because that's a sacrifice. It's a choice, but it's still a sacrifice.
Yeah. The only thing that I've heard of when it comes to parents and new parents, or parents in general, like you won't know until it happens. Like you won't know the love that you have for kids until it happens. I discussed something similar to this in my end. I've gone through some health issues and stuff, and sometimes it makes me question if like I have the energy to deal with kids, But everybody always says like for some reason when you have kids, you have this extra energy, like this extra drive, this something supernatural like that you do for them. I don't know why, you don't know why, they have a feeling as to why. Maybe one day we'll find out what they mean by that.
Maybe
until it happens. And that's a good question on your end. That's a good point. Like I'm like, it's fair. And I know, man, parents just, I don't know what it is about children, especially mothers. I mean, they did hold you in their belly for like 9 months. So it's one reason.
I have a friend. I will end on this. So I have a friend of mine, and my dad always jokes. It's like, if giving birth was like logical, humanity would die out. So I have a friend of mine. She's having her second kid, right? She's due literally any day now, and she's like, she'll complain about the pregnancy. She's like, yeah, my back hurts, or like, I'm ready to pop, all these things. But she's already wanting a third.
Wow.
And it's like, just if you look at the marvel that is a woman's brain and the woman's heart, and it's amazing. Women go through this so much pain, and I think what they say giving birth is the equivalent of like having like all your bones or like
crush or something.
Yeah. Like that's the amount of pain that women go through when they give birth. And then they come back and they're like, I want to give birth again. Like that level of love, like it's only two things. It's either insanity or love. But at the same time, love is a form of insanity, some would argue.
Some argue. But I think about it, bro, and it's like the kids rip them apart. Like they literally tear their bodies down.
It's like if it's regardless of whether it's natural or cesarean.
Yeah. No, it's still heavy.
Yeah.
We can't think about it. We don't know what that would be.
We get a cold, us men get colds, and we're like, oh, we know how to feel.
I heard that's like scientifically though, for some reason.
That's scientific?
I heard that when I read somewhere.
I thought it was just a joke.
No. Apparently there's science behind it. I forgot what it said. And maybe chat, you guys can help me. Well, when a man gets a cold, something about women, how the way they are built and created and, systematically, a cold doesn't affect them as hard as men for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason, I forgot, but I heard that's the reason we just feel like we're dying and we're like, oh, we can't do anything, but something about their either immune system or your nervous system, whatever the case may be in there, just a woman can take on a cold better than we can. So much better. That's what they could, but maybe it's the part of, if I can do a baby, this ain't nothing. You know what I mean? That's it's part, fair. It might be part of, that's so fair. Their strength is measured, differently, but just as well because they're strong in their own manner. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, I think we all have things we're born with that, make us who we are. We're different. Doesn't mean we're less valuable or more valuable. It's just we're unique and we're valuable in our own way. You know what I mean? I think that's the beautiful part about both genders and both parties. So
yeah, so that's good. But
yeah,
it was good talking to you, man. I know we went a little longer than anticipated, but we definitely have we're gonna have to come back and dissect this a little bit more.
100%. We have so many topics that we can go off from what we're talking about, but I want to thank you for coming on and sharing your life and your experience, your journey, being vulnerable. I think it's good for people to see other people's vulnerability because they can in some ways relate about life, and that's the beautiful part about listening to others. You think that some people might not suffer or go through the same things you have, but in reality there's a lot of people that are going through similar issues like you are, man. You just don't know because you don't hear it. But that is the beautiful part, what you just did, being vulnerable, letting people know and get to know your character, who you are, your family, your values, which I think is important. So I appreciate you coming on, and it was good to learn from you.
Well, I appreciate you giving me the time, man.
Yeah, thank you, brother. And hopefully you'll be back soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that would be great, bro. It would be great to have a good conversation. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for joining us today. I appreciate you again for coming on. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, to like, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. It helps the algorithm for sure. You can listen to this podcast in all the audio platforms. So if you want to go to a YouTube channel and show some love as well, you can. But thank you guys for all the love that you've always shown me. Thank you guys for your support. Don't forget, I have links to my link tree if you want to go see ways to support the channel. That would be great. But thank you, brother, for coming on, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no, thanks, man.
Hey, thank you, man. See you guys on the next one. As always, peace and love, familia. Deuce.